what are the experience buckets? Okay, so I call these experience buckets. What's experience? Where I'm going over the next 3 to 5 years, what level of experience should I have for areas that are gonna come up? Hey there, I'm Dan Martell, serial entrepreneur, investor, and creator of SaaS company. In this episode, I'm going to share with you how to leverage or understand the difference between board of advisors or board of directors. And be sure to stay till the end where I'm going to tell you how to get access to my Dream 100 framework, which is the exact same process I use to build multi-million-dollar companies in about 16 months. By identifying the people that are going to support you to grow it. So obviously it's going to help support recruiting board of directors and board of advisors. Be sure to stay to the end, but let's get into it. This topic is one of the most important to me. I mean, when I think of my life and what's been the most valuable, capital, money, or relationships, relationships towers over the amount of investment capital or my own personal capital, EBITDA, I've reinvested in the growth of my business. The reason why is because the right relationship will buy you an answer. They will literally give you an answer through that relationship. Having people that are going to help you raise your expectations for your own performance, introduce you to people that you're going to hire to be able to execute strategy and just give you perspective to avoid landmines. You know, that's why I've always had mentors and coaches, because I want people to show me where are the faults, where are the things I need to consider, what's appropriate for my size of a business. So it's a topic that's really important to me because I've probably advise over 100 companies as a formal advisor. I've sat on about a dozen boards as a board director, and knowing the difference, understanding what are the pitfalls to look for, why do they exist, and how to use them the best way. And specifically for you to understand the differences so you don't accidentally use something that you should really go to your advisors for and bring it to your directors and they get upset with you. I want to share these 5 different areas that make them different, and for you to understand how to get the most out of each one of them. So let's dive into the 5 areas to get the most leverage out of your BOA, Board of Advisors, or your BOD, Board of Directors. Number 1, work focus. So it's really important to understand the different groups, your BOD, your Board of Directors, or your BOA, your Board of Advisors. Who do they work for? Well, here's the deal. Your Board of Directors, they work for the corporation. They work for the shareholders. They do not work for the CEO, because their job is to provide guidance and fiduciary focus of the CEO, but the CEO can come and go of a company. So just so you know that, if you set up a board of directors the right way, they're there to argue for the best interest in the shareholders in the corporation. Yet the board of advisors, this is one that most founders can put together, make it informal kind of thing. They're there to bring you and fight for the management team and the CEO. They're there to bring you ideations, to tell you what to look for. It's informal. You know, it's kind of like, it's fun. You know, I sit on a board of advisors for an incredible company. It's growing. They're the fastest growing company in Canada right now. They're in the top 10 fastest growing company in Canada. And listening to their roadmap and their strategies and their business development and their partnerships, and then getting them asking other people that are, I think there's like 16 people on the call, these incredible minds to offer up ideas. That is a beautiful thing that's available to all of you. Just understand the differences. Board of directors are there to represent the shareholders in the corporation. Board of advisors for the CEO and the management. Number 2, formalities. Now, I will admit that I'm very informal in my approach on boards. Now, I follow the bylaws. I understand, how to second motions, and I understand that aspect. But the reality of it is board of advisors are incredibly informal, or they should be, or you can make it that way. And board of directors are typically formal. They're legally bound as directors to represent the best interests of the shareholders, whereas an advisor is really there to support, again, the executive team. So just know that there's a different informalities. And if you're kind of more like loosey-goosey on how you operate your business and you don't want to add too much like stuffy, tie, suit, kind of conversation language, maybe just stay out of the border stuff and just do that with your lawyer. And when you got to do your annual stuff, your AGM, even if you're a small company or you don't have a lot of shareholders, you can do that. Keep it formal there, minimize that, and spend most of your time on the informal advisory board. But the formalities are completely different in both. Number 3, the size. Okay, so most board of directors I think the best ones are 3 to 5 people. Some people have huge board of directors and that's fine, but stage appropriately. So 3 to 5. On the advisory side, the size can be 6 to 8, I think is a good number. I've sat on larger ones and it's kind of like a brainstorming meeting, but just understand that usually I would say as a rule of thumb, probably twice as big than, board of directors versus board of advisors. And that is all I got on that. The size is really going to depend on what you think you're missing to attract those people, to fill in those knowledge gaps. But, 3 is an awesome board of directors size, maybe 5, and then, 6 to 8 on the advisors. Number 4, compensation. Well, this is a fun one because if somebody's asking you for cash to sit on the board of directors, you should run away. Cash should be saved in your business to reinvest in acquiring customers because you can't pay to acquire customers with equity. Facebook will not take your equity to run Facebook ads, for example. And the reality of it is if somebody's an investor, they're going to sit on the board to represent their interests because they're shareholders, ideally. And if they ask, and you should give them maybe one, not a whole bunch of investors, a board seat. And then if anybody else is going to be on there, like an independent or somebody else you want to invite to participate, typically the equity is going to be, and I got this from Brad Feld, an incredible startup investor, but he says like whatever you would compensate a VP level, kind of I would say 2.2% in equity to 1% in equity, divide that in half. And that's kind of what you want to do for a board of directors. And you may even consider doing a vesting period, kind of like a 2-year rollout. Same thing for advisors, typically less equity. But the truth is for the right advisors, you could just hire them for consulting. So like maybe you have like a marketing person that you want on there and their hourly rate is $500 for consulting. And you just pay them, maybe every 2 months when you do your board of advisor meetings, $500. Now you could do that, or you could give out equity, right? I think equity is very valuable, and yes, it's good to defer, but certain people might be just best paying them. But that's the way I think about it, is just ask them, what's your hourly rate? Some people will be like $50 an hour, $80 an hour. Great. Lawyers, they're a little crazy sometimes, but they might decide to do the advisory board if you make it fun, you teach them, you involve them in the strategy and the ideation of where you're bringing the business, and then they'll be motivated to be part of that advisory board, but it's usually a little different on the compensation side. Number 5, recruiting. So how do you recruit for both parties, the board of directors or the board of advisors? Here's my favorite way, is I'll sit down and I'll ask myself, what are the experience buckets? Okay, so I call these experience buckets. What's experience? Where I'm going over the next 3 to 5 years, what level of experience should I have for areas that are going to come up? Maybe you're building a big team of 100 people, you've never done that before, and you need somebody that's an HR specialist. Or maybe you need to, you got to spend $250K a month in ad spend, and you've never done that before. You need somebody that's a paid acquisition expert. So think of these experience buckets that you may not need, that you want to fill, right? You want to fill with advice. And my best strategy for reaching out to people to fill those buckets, eventually build a relationship that feels confident and comfortable enough to ask them to be part of either one of the advisors or the directors, is to just ask for advice. I have this rule in life that you ask for advice, you'll get anything. You literally ask for advice, you'll get a partnership. Ask for advice, get investors. Ask for advice, get a new employee. Ask for advice, get a new board of directors or board advisor, and you can decide. But it's a good way to kind of like try before you buy, of just like reaching out to somebody on LinkedIn saying, I've got this meaty problem, I'd love to get your perspective. They reply 7 minutes, you follow up, you get some more, and like that to me just feels right. And that's how I've always recruited for both of those. Obviously for the directors, typically they're investors and they need a board seat, but even the independents, if it's somebody that I know of but I don't know, that's how I'm going to start that relationship to recruit them into my board of directors. So quick recap, 5 aspects of building a world-class board of advisors and directors. Number 1, the focus, the work focus. Number 2, formalities. Number 3, the size. Number 4, compensation. And number 5, the most important, is recruiting. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I want to share with you a exclusive training called the Dream 100. And it's what I use to build a network of success before I enter into a new business or a new project. And the way it works at a high level is I'll identify the 10 mentors, the 30 advisors, and the 60 peers. And then I'll build that list and approach those people so that over time, your network is your net worth. And if you want to know that my strategy for reaching out and how to structure that, click the link below to get access to that Dream 100 framework. If you like this video, be sure to smash the subscribe button. Leave a comment. If there's anybody that you care about that you think this could serve, feel free. And I would encourage you to share it with them directly. But as per usual, I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business. And I'll see you next Monday.